Pick 'em with Rod. For those of you who haven't seen this before, this is where I just give my takes on some of the sports gaming bets that I do. Disclosure is I'm not a pro, not a professional at all. This is just what I put together off of years of watching sports, basketball, football, things like that. And then I just put together my own little, what I think the outcomes would be. So for these picks, I would be using prize picks and, uh, like I said, I'm not in any partnership with Prize Picks. They're not sponsoring this video, nothing like that, but that's who I'm using for the video. So the title is, you know, um, I've I've done my first picks with the NBA games, and this is how I won $750. So with Prize Picks, um, the least amount of bets you can place are two. As far as what they consider matchups. So you can have two players, and you pick whether they're gonna be lower or above what their projected number would be. So with the NBA picks, I decided to use the points, rebounds, and assist totals, whether they're gonna be more or less. I feel this is the best way to do it because in the NBA, most people think about points and stuff, but depending on which kind of player you're using, they might not be a player just that solely that their sole purpose on their team isn't to just score points. They might be a facilitators with getting assists. They might have to grab rebounds. They might do other little things or whatever. So, say for instance, let's say Jimmy Butler. So Jimmy Butler is like one of the leading scorers on his team, but sometimes they might need Jimmy Butler to play a little bit more defense, so he might not be as assertive on offense. They might let Tyler Hero take the majority of the shots and things like that. So if you have a game like it's a big game and they have Jimmy Butler over on points, 35 points, he might not get 35. He might get 22, but has 8 rebounds and 4 assists or whatever because, he has to help out the team more, take a step back with scoring, and do more on the defensive end. So if you take that 35 points more, you're going to lose on that bet or part of that parlay. But if you take the points, rebounds, and assists, you'll be above that. So it's kind of a way to cover yourself. So that's a little trick. So yesterday, I also noted that, like I said, the least amount of picks you can do is 2, and the most you can do is 6. When it's 2, the payout isn't as much as a 6-leg parlay. The 6-leg parlay is 1 second. Let me flip my other phone around. So the 6-leg parlay is worth, if you get 6 out of 6 correct, it's 25 times whatever your bet was. If you get 5 out of 6, you only get 2 times how much you bet. And that's another reason why I like Prize Picks is because if you get some of the parlays right, you'll still get some money. With regular, betting sites like that's not a thing. If you get one wrong, that's it. Your money is took. So that's another good thing. And if you get 4 out of 6, you get 0.4% of your money. So with that being said, yesterday I did a 6-leg because my thing is, if I don't have to bet a lot of money, if my input is low and I can get a great output, I'm always gonna go ahead and try to aim for the big money. So a couple rules before I get into this. Don't ever bet with your last. And if you don't know what your last means, that means if you down to your last, chunk of change or whatever, don't gamble. If you don't know how to control your gambling, don't gamble. If you're just betting on a whim without watching these games, or not being too into sports and stuff, and not really knowing what you're doing, to even have like to even put together a little thought process to put these picks together, don't do it unless you just want to throw away some money. Another thing is, I don't win like a lot of bets, especially for $750. I mean, that don't happen often. If that happened often or whatever, just a lot of things will be different. So, but I can say that I've been close to hitting the max on the bets or whatever a lot of times. So, I decided I went just to the points, rebounds, and assist sections, and they give you a list of players. One of the first people that came up was Marketing, that played for the Utah Jazz. He's a 7-footer. He's basically like a small forward, plays a lot on the perimeter. He's basically, one of their scorers. So his number, they had him at 34.5. So looking at that number, you can also click. Let me see. I'm gonna use another example so I can help, get the visual for y'all. So you can have a player. So you have this player, right? You can also click this little graph up here. It'll show you the previous stats for the last, 5 games. Then they also show you where their projected line is and whether the past games they've been above, right at, or lower than the projections. So they set you up pretty well or whatever. So, and this comes in handy. So with that being said, I looked at his projected projection. Then I see how it fared to other games, and I've noticed that sometimes if they have a big game, it'll well, before I get to that, I noticed that they base it off kind of like their average. So if they've been averaging 28, 29, 32, it'll basically put that at the average. But people don't understand, and I'm glad I paid attention in math. It's another reason to pay attention in school. So based off your averages, the thing that make your averages go up and down is either you have a really low game or a really high game. So he's basically been pretty much at the same level projection wise, and the team that they were playing was the Knicks, I want to say. Who did they play? Yeah, they were playing the Knicks. So with that being said, the Knicks are a good, little defensive team. They were pretty scrappy. I didn't feel that he would do anything above what he normally does, so I'll put him, less. Because if it's the same output or less, you'll win that bet. So I put him less, right? I had him under 34.5 for points, rebounds, and assists. So that means even if he gets 34, he still is less. He ended up getting 20. I don't know if y'all can see that. That's a 20 right there. Oh, my bad. Hold on. Let me flip my screen around so I can see it better. 1 second. So, you see his projection was 34.5. He ended up getting 20. That's perfect. So another one I did was Jalen Brunson. He's the point guard for the New York Knicks. He's basically, here's their highest scorer. He's their highest scorer. So his projection was at 45.5. Right off the back, this is where watching basketball or whatever sport you are looking at comes into effect. So I know this for a fact. I've seen it. He's their main scorer. He's the first priority. He's a good shot maker. He he gets paint points. He can find the open people, things like that. So he'll have I think point wise, he'll have at least probably around 30. Um, Assists, he probably could get around, let's say, no more than 8. Rebounds, I don't know, he might have a few rebounds. So I also look on ESPN because they have their stats too. And in case y'all didn't know, ESPN has been a real big part of the betting world. That's why every time you look at scores or games that's coming up, you'll see a minus whatever under it. That minus is showing what team is expected to win. So in case y'all never knew what that was, that's what it is. They are giving the Vegas odds for whoever they think is gonna win that game. So ESPN and these in Vegas, they're like this. So like I said, they want you to bet. You can look on ESPN for a whole bunch of stats or whatever to help you look at those games. So I also wanted to see what his projection was, and when I looked at the last 5 games, he's been scoring high around the same, and I think the last game he had a real big jump, so that's gonna bring his number up a little bit. So I don't think anybody gonna stay always at a great level. It always, even if it's not at a great level, it can still be good. So since he's been playing great, I always expect a little drop off. So wherever his number was, I was gonna put under. So I put under. He was at 45.5, and they was playing the Jazz. So he ended up getting, I don't know if you can see it. Where is it at? So here he is right here. He ended up getting 41. I know it was a little bit blurry. I'm gonna be working on this. So he ended up getting 41 to 45.5. Close call. Another close call, right? So another one that popped up was LeBron. The game before, he had a real big game playing Golden State, and they went into 2 overtimes. So his scoring goes up even more. They count the overtime scoring and things too. So off top, I know that his average and his projection is going to go up. Always use that to your advantage. So his projection was 45.5, and it was playing the Hawks. I look at the Hawks and I see who are they defensive players. They really don't have any standout defensive players, especially to guard LeBron. So I was like, he might score a little bit of points, but as far as rebounds and assists, I don't think he's gonna do a whole lot. And on top of this, if they blow out Atlanta, which they ended up losing to Atlanta, I felt that he probably wouldn't play that much or a lot of meaningful minutes to where he's actually exerting himself. So his projection was 45.5. I took him less, and he ended up coming away with 37. You can't see the 37 on there. So it's less, right? So good. So for those picks, I'm 3 out of 3. The next person I saw was D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell is a great scorer. He shoots a lot. He gets some paint points. Not much known for the rebounds and assists. So like I said, you always use that to your advantage. Like I said, I did the same thing, see who their defense was, who might be guarding him. I thought Trae Young might be guarding him, might be a liability. So I thought D'Angelo Russell could probably, bust him up. But once again, I was like, he might not play that long because I thought the Lakers was going to beat them. The Lakers, like I said, they lost, and, he just didn't have a good game. All good news for me. So I took him less. I took him under, where is he at? He's right here. I took him under 33.5, and he ended up scoring 15. Good. So now we got 4 out of 6. Here's the one that caused me the most problems because he went to a new team, so I haven't seen him play that much on his new team, was Pascal Siakam. He's a power forward. He came from Toronto. He plays for the Pacers. So I know he can score. He probably a legit 23 points a game, maybe 6 rebounds, 3 assists, right? So that puts him, 23, 29. That put him about 32, right? Typical game. Their opponent was the Celtics. So I know the Celtics got a good defense. Their post players was pretty good. Let's see, Porzingis. I know he has height. If they got him guarding him, it'll be hard to shoot over him. I know Jaylen Brown might cover him a little bit. So I was like, anytime a good player is going against another good team, especially a defensive team, their numbers is going to be less, theoretically. So they had him at 31.5. Here's where one of my tips I forgot to mention earlier comes into effect. I tell people, especially with football games, to kind of wait about 15 minutes to 10 minutes before the game. So if any injury reports come out, you can hear some of the game plans and something like that from the sideline reporters and stuff like that. Always wait about 15 to 10 minutes before the game to try to put your bet. Even though it seemed like you cutting it close, just stick with it. I started putting these bets in around 4:30. The game wasn't until 6:30. I got rushed because sometimes the projections change. They might increase or they might decrease depending on what these analysts and stuff are hearing. Maybe somebody might be hurt. Anything could come into effect. So the original line was 30.5, which means if I go less with him, if he gets 30, I still win. But since it go up 31.5, he can get 31 and I will still win. People don't know how much that point can make a difference. And I thought it was kind of a bad thing at first. So, game goes on. He has a slow start. And then, like I said, I'm watching him for the first couple times. I see that they take him out for good little chunks of quarters, especially the second and third. So he'll be fresh in the fourth. Fourth quarter, he starts shooting more and all this other stuff. I'm like, oh, shit. He's getting rebounds and everything. So, with like 2 minutes left, I believe he was at 28. He scored a layup. So that puts it at 30. Then he misses a shot and then gets a rebound. So that rebound counts. So it's 29. So I was like, oh, shoot. Or excuse me if I did the math wrong like that. So it was like under a minute left. They did a jump ball. The jump ball goes to him. I didn't know if that counts as a rebound because whatever point that was, I was at 30 total. I was at 31 total. So, like I said, this is where that point comes in because if it stayed at 30.5, if he was to get that last rebound, 31 puts him over. But 31.5 still has him under. So, he got the tip, and I didn't know if it counted or not. Hold on 1 second. So, I didn't know if it counted or not, so I keep checking ESPN to see what track. So, long story short, they lose. He stays at 31, which y'all can see right here. Oh, shoot. Hold on 1 second. So, he stays at 31 when I had him less on the 31.5. So, barely made it. So, right now, I'm 5 out of 6. 1 game left. And who do I have all this riding on? $750. Y'all would probably never guess the player that I have it all riding on. I have all my money riding on Steph Curry. my girlfriend used to call him half white because she's white or whatever. So especially back then, this is before we met. She always used to probably think that most people that are real bright are mixed, which it is the case sometimes. But like I'm kind of bright, I'm not mixed. But she's called him half white. I said, girl, he's not half white. Anyways, so it all carries on him, right? So Curry has been on a tear all year. He's been averaging probably about 30 easy, right? Big games, he played well. They playing against sorry teams. He lightened them up too. So they had him at 38.5. They was playing the 76ers. So I know playing the 76ers, he's really going to have to shoot and stuff because they usually are a decent team because they have Maxey, a good scoring guard. They have Embiid. He's been averaging about 33 points. And they have Tobias Harris. He has his moments. But they really don't have a lot outside of that, right? So I'm thinking, he's going to have a good game. The game starts. He make his first three. That's always a good sign. Then I notice he's getting a lot of rebounds off misses and stuff like that. That's another thing you got to take into account, too, is how your team is, or that how the team is that your player is on. Since they shoot a lot of threes, it's going to be a lot of long rebounds, which is good for guards to get more rebounds. And Curry, a lot of people don't know this, but he is a little bit above average in offensive rebounds and stuff. It's not a lot of people know that. So this is all good news. So coming out the gate, I think he had like 9 points in the first quarter, a couple rebounds and stuff like that. So he ended up having 11 points. Sometimes I don't like watching these games, and sometimes I can't watch these games. So I try to kind of average it out. So I had him over 38.5, which means if he gets 39, we're good. So in my mind, before the game started, I'm like, if he scores about 32, gets about 5 rebounds, that's already 37, and then like 4 assists, like we like at 41 already. So I know he can get that. The game starts, and I'm watching the game, and I see that Thompson isn't playing. Klay Thompson is playing. So that's another person who shoots a lot too, which can take shots away from him, which can take points away from Curry. So I was like, oh shit. I was like, is that good? I was like, oh, that is good, because that means he's going to have to shoot even more. So I was like, perfect. So Curry going off. He making threes, getting rebounds, making assists, all this or whatever, right? So about time third quarter start, I'm not worried anymore. He's already I think he was like at 41 in the third quarter. I needed 39. And y'all see where he got me. So this Steph Curry, I had him 38.5. It's blurry. So I had him at 52. So what does that make it? That makes it 6 out of 6. Y'all count it. 6 out of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All of them green. All of them green means that's a win. Y'all can't see it, but that says win. $750 off of 30. So that's how we made that happen. It's not just guesswork. A lot of it is educated guesses. So, like I said, y'all try to watch some of the teams that y'all are betting with some of these players or whatever, because it will help a lot. I bet it. I won $35 because I put up I think $30 in one of my last bets, and I think I got 5 out of 6. So they still get you some money. So I was like, well, let me go ahead and do it. I'm gonna go ahead. So see, I had $35 on my account, right? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put $30 on this bet. I feel really good about it. And then with that $5, I'm gonna go ahead and let a couple games go by. And then I'm going to, place another bet. And it's going to be based off of probably one of the last games I'm watching. And I'm going to watch the first half and see how the game is. See who's scoring, see who's not scoring. If it might be a blowout or whatever, things like that. And then I'm going to use that to place the bets. So with that $5 bet, I put Tobias Harris from the 76ers. I put him over 12.5 points because he was scoring a little bit in the first half. I put Oubre playing for the 76ers. He was scoring a little bit. I put him less than 9.5 points. Draymond Green, he was scoring a little bit, which is a change because most of the time he just rebounds, play defense, and have assists. I put him more on points. It was over 4.5. I put Curry over 15.5 points because, of course, the game was kind of close. I knew he was going to start firing them up. Then the other point guard, number 2, Podziemski, my bad. Number 2, I put him over 5.5 points because, he was scoring, especially with Klay Thompson out. And Andrew Wiggins, I had him over 9.5 points because, he also needs to put up his scoring output when those players are out. So Tobias Harris, he missed it by, let's say, 1.5 points. Well, let's say 2.5 points, because if he would have got 12.5, if he would have got 12.5 exactly, that still would have put him as less. Because remember, if you're right on, that means you're still less. Oubre, he was less than 9.5. He had 7 points. Draymond Green ended up scoring less. He didn't score at all in the second half. So I lost that one. He was more. Then let me see. Stephen Curry, he went over 25, 15 point, over 15 and a half. And then the number 2, he had 6 points. So he was over. And Andrew Wiggins, I had him over 9.5. He had 11. So I got, what, 4 out of 6? 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 6. So they still pay you a little bit of money. I think I still got like $2 out there. So yeah, so just so y'all know, y'all stick with it. Put some thought into it. Don't rush making these picks. If you really don't have a good feeling that they're gonna that they are gonna hit these numbers, don't put no money on there, and then don't put a lot of big money on there. Wait till the games to where you really have a good feeling about it. Y'all don't have to bet every night because there are games on. Y'all can even do, the little 2-3 part bet, so there was gonna be less money, but it's still money in your pocket from not doing nothing, just watching the game and stuff. So y'all can get with me. Like I said, I'm not a professional. I don't get them all right. I do get close a lot, and I will be going over other past picks that I've made that I've gotten close on and things like that too. So y'all stay tuned. This has been Pick'em with Rod. I'll be doing a Pick'em later on, and it involves a lot of Clippers players in there. I think I feel good about this one too. So y'all stay tuned. Like and share my videos, whether it's my the event with Rod, or anything you see with me, like and share. It'll help me get bigger or whatever. And like I said, y'all stay tuned. This has been Pick 'em with Rod. Y'all have a good day.